Good morning, students. Today we will continue chapter number 2 of science, that is nutrition in animals. And today we will start from the next part, that is small intestine. Earlier we have discussed about the esophagus, that is known as food pipe. After that, stomach. The next, small intestine. The small intestine is a long and narrow coiled tube. It is long and narrow coiled tube. Connected to the stomach, and it is connected to the stomach. As the child enters the small intestine, bile from the gallbladder and pancreatic juice from the pancreas mix with the food. After stomach, the food entered in small intestine, and here bile from the gallbladder and pancreatic juice from the pancreas mixed with the food. Bile is secreted by liver. Bile is secreted by liver and stored in the gallbladder. The bile juice helps in the digestion of fats. Bile juice helps in the digestion of fats. Pancreas is a large gland located just above the stomach. The pancreatic juice breaks down carbohydrates, proteins and fats into simple substances. Starch, that is complex carbohydrate present in the food such as potato, rice and wheat, breaks down into glucose. Glucose is a kind of sugar. Proteins present in the food items like pulses, milk and fish are complex substances. They are broken down into amino acids, which are building blocks of proteins. Similarly, fats present in food items such as butter, oil, milk and meat are complex substances, and these are broken into simple fatty acids. So, all of you remember it. Carbohydrates break into glucose, that is a type of sugar. Next one is protein, and protein break into amino acids that are building blocks of protein, and last one is fats, and fats are built into fatty acids. These are complex substances and these are simple substances. Digestion of food begins in the mouth and ends in the small intestine. Digestion of food starts in the mouth, then food transferred through esophagus to the stomach, and after that small intestine. the food digestion in small intestine. Besides glucose, amino acids and fatty acids, the digestion food also contains minerals and vitamins. After this, the next step is absorption and assimilation of food. Next step is absorption and assimilation of food. The inner walls of the small intestine, have finger-like projections, and these projections are called villi. These villi are richly supplied with blood vessels. All the simple substances that are formed, glucose, amino acids and fatty acids and vitamins that are obtained from the food pass into the blood present in these blood vessels. This process is called absorption. After that, the blood carries these useful substances to each and every part of the body. The body uses these substances for its growth and maintenance. The absorption of digested food and its utilization by the body is known as assimilation. After it, the next one is large intestine. Large intestine. Small intestine, after that, the process absorption, assimilation. Now, the next part is large intestine. The large intestine is broader and shorter than the small intestine. After all the nutrients from the digested food are absorbed into the blood in the small intestine, the remaining undigested food material passes into the large intestine. Most of the water and minerals present in the undigested food are absorbed by the large intestine. So we can say most of the water and minerals present in the undigested food are absorbed by large intestine. The remaining undigested portion of the food is discarded from the body through the anus. As the most of the water and minerals present in the undigested food are absorbed by the large intestine, and the remaining food which are undigested discarded from the body out of the body through the anus, and this process is called egestion. As in the starting, the process of taking food was ingestion. Similarly, at the last, egestion, that means out of the body, the undigested, the waste material out of the body through anus, that is called egestion. Now, the fibers that are present in vegetables, fruits and whole grains is not digested. Fibers, our body cannot digest fiber, but fiber helps in the digestive system and helps in moving the undigested food up to the anus. So fibers are very important for us, and water is also very important for the transportation of food and for the blood, proper maintaining the temperature of the body. Now, the next we will discuss about digestion in grass-eating animals. deer, camels and yak. They can digest cellulose. Herbivores like cow, goat, deer, camel and yak. All of these can digest. They can digest cellulose. What is cellulose? It is a kind of carbohydrate. A kind of carbohydrate. Present in the grass and leaves. They have a specialized digestive system. They have a special digestive system. All animals cannot digest cellulose. These animals have a four-chambered stomach. The first chamber is called the rumen. The first chamber is rumen. These animals have four-chambered stomach. The first chamber is called rumen. These herbivores eat quickly and store large amount of grass in the rumen, where it softens. First of all of you see this diagram. Digestive system in ruminants. Here see a herbivorous animal. It can digest cellulose, and cellulose is a kind of carbohydrate. Esophagus, that is food pipe. All of you have already seen in the human digestive system. Then rumen, first chamber. First chamber is known as rumen. After that, second chamber, then third chamber and fourth chamber, because they have a four-chambered stomach. Next and the last is cecum, where normal digestion takes place. So we will discuss about it, how they work. The first chamber is rumen. They eat and store large amount of grass in the rumen. In the first chamber, where it softens, the rumen contains millions of microorganisms. As we know that microorganisms are very small, they cannot be seen with the help of naked eyes. We use microscope to see them. A large amount of saliva is also secreted in the rumen. Rumen contains millions of microorganisms, and large amount of saliva is also present in the rumen. The chewed food passes into the rumen. They chew grass, plants, leaves. It passes into the rumen, where the microorganisms begin the digestion of the food. The animals now regurgitates or brings the contents of the rumen back into the mouth several times to chew on it. First of all, they eat quickly and large amount of grasses, and that goes to the rumen. Then it come back to their mouth and they chew it. The food material is now called curd. The food material is now called curd. The additional chewing helps in breaking down the cellulose content further. When they again start chewing, then the cellulose convert into a smaller part. The regurgitation and chewing of curd is called rumination, and the animals that does it is called a ruminant. From the rumen, the food passes through the other two chambers and finally it reaches to the fourth chamber of the stomach. The hydrochloric acid, HCl, and gastric juices secreted in these chambers digest the proteins. The food can take as much as 80 hours. It can take 80 hours because we know that digestion is a slow process, and in the case of ruminants it is very time taking process. It can take 80 hours to pass through the digestive system of a ruminant. So this is digestion in grass eating animals. You have to remember some basic points that they have four chambered stomach. The first chamber is called rumen and it contains millions of microorganisms and large amount of saliva. First of all, the herbivorous eat quickly and store it in the rumen. Then again it come back to their mouth and then it is called cud. And they again started chewing this and it helps the cellulose to break further. The regurgitation and chewing of the cud is called rumination, and the animal that does it is called a ruminant. Now we will discuss about how do living organisms obtain energy from digested food. How do living organisms obtain energy from digested food? After the process of digestion, how do the living organisms get energy? In plants, the glucose produced during photosynthesis is transported to every part of the plant through the phloem tubes. As we know that during the photosynthesis process, plants prepare their food, that is glucose, and it is transferred to all the parts through phloem tubes. In animals, the blood carries glucose obtained from the digested food to every cell of the body. In case of animals, the glucose is carried to all the body parts with the help of blood. The glucose is broken down inside the cell in the presence of oxygen. During this process, the energy present in glucose is released along with carbon dioxide and water. Glucose react with in the presence of oxygen. It gives carbon dioxide, CO2 plus water and energy. By this process, the living organisms get energy after the digestion because the glucose in presence of oxygen combined with oxygen to form carbon dioxide. CO2 is known as carbon dioxide. Okay? Carbon dioxide. And it gives carbon dioxide, water and energy. This process is known as cellular respiration. This process is known as cellular respiration. Next is, how does amoeba obtain nutrition? Next is, how does amoeba obtain nutrition? As we know that amoeba is a microscopic unicellular, that means single cell living thing. It lives in freshwater puddles and ponds, and it feeds mostly on remains of plants. It is interesting to know that even in such small organisms, the steps involved in obtaining nutrition are the same as in higher animals. All of you can see here how the amoeba obtain nutrition. First of all, the amoeba senses a food particle move towards it. You can see the structure of amoeba, and it senses the food particles. As food particles is near to the amoeba, it senses it, come to it and move towards it, and after some time it forms with the help of its false feet, that is known as pseudopodium. It covers it and engulfs, and finally it engulfs the food. After that, a food vacuole that is formed around the engulfed food particle contains digestive juices which break down the food particle into simple substances. First of all, it comes to it, and then with the help of false feet, pseudopodium, it covers it and eat it. Then a food vacuole is formed, and this food vacuole contains digestive juice which breaks down the food particles into simple substances. Food vacuole is formed, and this process is digestion. The amoeba uses these substances. This process is assimilation. After digestion, the substances are used by amoeba. This process is assimilation. And finally, the undigested portion is removed from the body, that is egestion. So, with the help of this, amoeba obtain nutrition. Now, students, we have completed this chapter number 2. Thank you, class.